Okay, we're going to get started learning about Unity, Create with Code, Unit 3, and we're going to take it through the first phase of this. So I'm getting my project set up. I have my scene or my workspace set up in a tall layout with the game at the bottom, the scene at the top, my project in a one column over here. Let's go ahead and open up the assignment. So we're working in, so we don't need any of these open. We're working in Create with Code in Unity. So Create with Code, we're going to find the Create with Code just by searching for Create with Code in Unity. We are in Unit 3, learning about sound effects. So this is built off of the previous two assignments in the previous two units in Unity, Unit 1 and Unit 2. Each of these units has some wonderful videos for you to watch. My videos are just to supplement those videos to kind of go over some of the parts that you may have got stuck on. So I do some short videos just in case you're wondering what these are about. You need to have the Unity, either any version of 2018 usually works. 2019 also works through these. If you have 2020, sometimes you might have problems with the assets not quite working. So keep that in mind. In all of the units, when you get to the lesson, after you've done the introduction, once you get into the lesson one of each of the units, you'll find that you'll be able to download the assets. If you have an Adobe, or excuse me, Adobe, if you have a Unity account, you just go to the assets, click on the asset store, and click on add to my assets. It will then ask you to log in if you are not already logged in. Now, I may have a problem opening in Unity since I'm a teacher and I'm constantly opening up. Yeah, I knew that was going to be a problem. Let me go ahead and sign out, and then I'll sign back in. This usually is a problem because I am members of my students' teams, so I do this all the time. I need to go in and should have prepared this. My account, since I'm members of my students' organizations, it gets confused when I'm trying to when I switch my organization and then I log in there again. So let me get in here. All right, and I always do this. All right, here we go. Let me step it out of there. So let's go ahead and open up that. So now I should, once it opens up, I should be able to open up in my asset store. So let's wait, let's make sure that the asset store actually opens up. It's usually good. So the asset store, remember our scenes is here. The asset store opens up behind here. I'm going to go ahead and go back to create the internet here and say open in Unity. It's going to open up in Unity, and you'll see that my scenes are still behind the asset store here. You'll see several things are going to come up here. One, you'll be clicking on import several times. There's several phases, so I usually go into this install and update. And then you'll know that you'll know if your stuff is not installed if you get a bunch of green new here. If it sees that it's already been installed in your computer, then you know that it's actually already been installed. Just click on import. While this is importing, I'll talk a little bit about the end project, the challenge project, and you will actually do the challenge project right inside the same unit. So don't start a new project for that challenge project. It will go right in here. Okay, so it looks like this is all done installing. I have my course library here. That's how I know that it's done installing. Let's go back to our scene. So our scene is here, and people, it is really here. It really is. So I know by going to my scenes, right here, expanding my scenes folder, I will see that there is a prototype 3 here. One thing before we click on prototype 3, I'm actually going to click on sample scene and hit my delete key on my keyboard and delete it. If you open up prototype 3 and then click on the delete sample scene, it's going to ask you to save. It's kind of a really weird thing. Yeah, you're going to have to say save. So let's go ahead and open up prototype 3. And again, it says save scenes. So yeah, and again, sample scene up and back up. I'm not sure what this whole cycle is. Go ahead and click on delete sample scene again and delete it. It's like you have to go through this twice. I'm not sure why that is. One thing I do want to point out about this one that I know this is really confusing for people, because people get here and they say everything is gone, everything's kind of weird. Well, actually, this is the right way of your scene. In up here in this scenes, it looks like everything is gone. This comes in backwards every time up here. In this version of this, it looks backwards in the scene. So I want you to realize that you have to kind of turn this around and correct this. And I think you might be able to set the perspective of this, but I'm not sure. Usually in most things, you should be able to set the perspective. I might look this up before my next video to see if you can actually correct this to always be the perspective that you want it to be. It says that it's the back, but it's really, it says the back, like, which is really strange because it should be the front. I don't know how, whoever set this up really weird. So we're looking at the back of this. I don't know. Anyway, this is our game. Who knows? But you'll have to turn this around every time you come into it. So let's go ahead and bring in our assignment again, and let's look at some of the things that we need to do for this assignment. So this first tab here, I'm going to talk you through, I'll try and keep these videos somewhat short, so I'll try and pay attention to our time on this. So we've opened up our prototype. We're going to choose some of the players in this and get them onto our project. So we are going to be choosing some of our characters, and so in here in our source library, our source files, in our course library, we have characters. So we're going to expand that. We have obstacles, and so we just need to get a character and an obstacle. So if I click on one of the characters, there's character and there's farm people and there's town people. And if you see on mine, I have this set up so it actually pops up already. So if I click on a person, yours might be down here closed off. If you want to drag this up, you can actually see a better version of the person. You can make it as big as you need to see this person, to go through and decide who you want to have. Again, there's farm people and there's business people. So who do you want to have running through here? I might choose the brown farm worker or road worker. Maybe I'll choose the maybe I'll have a waitress this time. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose the brown waitress, simple person waitress. I think I'm gonna make her going to work. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drop her in my scene. So you see I grabbed her from here and I'm dropping her up here on my scene up here. And I'm just gonna have her in the air right now because I'm gonna go ahead and change her position in just a second. Actually, I'll do that right now. So I have her here, and you'll see she's kind of in the air. I am going to go up here to where in the inspector and make sure that I put her position of being her X of 0, the position of X of 0, the Y of 0, and the Z of 0. So now if you look down here in the game, she is standing kind of where she should be. Here it looks kind of weird just because of the angle that we're at in our view. The other thing too is she's facing the wall. So we need to rotate her. And let's figure out what direction we should rotate her at. And we know we need to go 90 in some direction. So let's decide on what direction we want to rotate her on. We can look at start with the X and see if we change it 90 on the X. That obviously makes her lay down, which we should have known that by rotating a floor. But let's go, we tried that out. That is not which way we want to rotate her on. So let's go ahead and rotate her on the Y. Do we want to rotate her on the Y? Hey, that looks really good. So rotating around the Y kind of turns her this way. Obviously, remember rotating something on the 90 makes something lay flat on the ground. Okay, next thing we want to do, let's go ahead and close this character. We only need one character. The other thing we need to do is add a obstacle. So our obstacles, again, we have a couple different obstacles. She's going to jump over the obstacles as they come towards her. And I think probably the easiest one for us to do with this is the one that they suggest in this, and that's one of the sign barriers. So I'm going to go ahead and choose, I kind of like this one here, this prop barrier 3. So I'm going to go ahead and grab it, put it in the air, and then I'm going to position it. So again, let's go ahead and start with 0, 0, 0, and then let's go ahead and figure this one out. So I'm just going to put it right in the same place she is, and then we're going to go ahead and figure this out. So 0, 0, 0 puts it right where she is. We want to move this away from her to 25 to start with. So that would be, if we're going from left to right, that's going to be on the X. So let's go to position of X of 25. So we should learn these positions. So that looks pretty good to me. So we have our everything in the correct position. And I think this is, we are 11 minutes into this first video. So that is how we set up our scene for our first video. Now what I want to do, because I have gone through this and I know we haven't done a lot in this whole lesson. Let me find this lesson. Where did this lesson go? So far we've gone through the lessons. We have gone through not a lot of this lesson so far. So we've just barely gone through a little bit of this lesson, not even quite what, we haven't done through everything so far. We've got the background object, prototype 3, download, choose the character, drag. And so we haven't done everything yet. Oh, let's finish this up. So one thing I always want to make sure you do, as soon as you get a character, you want to make sure you rename them. I see so many students who've left the names like this, a simple person, waitress Brown. That's really big. Let's go over here to the inspector and name her player. It's probably important that you actually get in the habit of using the capital name for all of your, not cap locks, but capital names. So Player with the capital P. Because that could really mess you up as you go through with your work if the assignment's talking about using, the right casing of your objects. And then this is supposed to be an obstacle. So instead of prop barrier 3, we want to name them, have it the same. So obstacle, and if you don't know how to spell obstacle, is down here, so you can spell it according to what it says down there. Obstacle. I'm the world's worst speller, and I shouldn't keep saying that. But I'm dyslexic, so I hate to use that as an excuse, but I'm learning to spell. But it helps me that the words are down here. So let's say that. I'm learning to spell. I'm still learning to spell. I am old and learning to spell. So there we go. So obstacle, I use help with my spelling. Let's put it that way. So those are in there. And then, yeah, so let's go ahead and stop right there. In a minute, we're going to come back in the next video and add a few things to this. So let's go ahead and push this up to collab. So click on collab, click on start now, and we're going to go ahead and push this to collab. It's so important that you do this on a regular basis. If something were to happen, your computer shuts down, you lose power, you've lost all this so far. So you can go ahead and it'll remind you too to hit save. So make sure you save it. It should save to where you began it. And also too, you make sure that when you name this, if you're in my class, you're supposed to put your name in that file name. So mine just says MB prototype 3. I would have you put your name in that file. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video for now, and I will start a new one to continue on with this assignment.